Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here. I hope you're having an amazing day. We're taking a look here at BLZ, seeing what's going on. I've got so many requests for this coin. We're just going to continue to cover it here on a regular basis, just to make sure you can stay well informed. And what's great about this coin here is it's doing fairly close to what we're expecting, of course. Most people do say that, but I just wanted to kind of highlight on our Twitter here a few days ago. I think it was 2 days ago, September 3rd. Yep. BLZ is looking good, quite strong on every single time frame. Higher likelihood of increased price action. And the price at that point was 12.8 because it was retesting that 0.5 Fibonacci retracement level at 12.8 cents. Okay. Now it blasted off, took off, and just know that this head and shoulders pattern is invalidated. That's no longer a potential play out. Okay. So just know, definitely good shape here. We broke through some key level resistances. We'll talk about that and much more. Also, if you could, definitely check this out if you haven't already. To a lot of my community members who are part of BingX using their exchange, they do have an awesome futures copy trading competition here from August 31st through September 14th. And it's huge. We got $2.5 million in prize pool for that futures trading. So be sure to check that out. Awesome stuff there. Thanks again, BingX, for helping our community members just have a really cool option for some trading there. Okay. Now, when it comes to trading this coin, what do we do in this situation? Well, we're going to talk about a few things here. First of all, to acknowledge, we'll look at the big picture, work our way down. We want to understand liquidity and fair value gaps too. But before we do, let's just go ahead and look at kind of some of the obvious indicators here. First of all, when we look at RSI, pretty straightforward. We're testing 70 on the RSI. That's a common retracement level, an area in which the price action becomes overbought, right? And people consider selling. Okay. Now, the price action hitting this 1.414 Fibonacci retracement level, it's a common retracement level. Okay, so with that hitting that area and we hitting 70 at the same time, there's a good chance that was a strong resistance area. So we need to respect, what is it, 17.8 cents moving forward. That's going to be a strong resistance level if the price retests that level. Now keep in mind, we are converging on the MACD here, which is very strong. And with us testing 70, we could break through that level. It's a decent chance we might continue higher with the price action for this coin. Okay, so just keep in mind some really awesome stuff's happening there. We can also see, of course, and the reason why we drew this trend line out in the first place isn't just arbitrary lines on the chart. It's concurrent with the 20-day SMA, and this is an indicator that I like to kind of highlight the importance of, specifically on the daily and the 4-hour. You see the 20-day SMA working itself up, you do not trade against that coin. Okay, so I know it seems juicy. Of course, you probably could have caught a short up here and hit some nice profit. Don't get wrong, all good. But if you're looking more so from a swing trader's perspective and you're not jumping in and out consistently, 20-day SMA being on the right side of the tracks there tells us we are still ascending positively. Until we break below that level, we have every reason to consider the price could go higher. So just note that, okay? Looking at the 4-hour here as well, we can see a similar scenario here where the 20-day SMA is still working as a support level, holding the price action in place. While it dipped down below for a moment, it's still holding the price action up. Concurrent with that, we can see the 50-day SMA starting to align itself with this ascending trend. It's a very common characteristic. 50 on the 4-hour, 20 on the daily. Those both work very hand in hand with trend setting, understanding, knowing which direction you're heading in. So, okay, so we've acknowledged the fact that we're bullish on this here, right? Well, what's the probability of the pullback? Well, we were hitting 70 on the RSI as well on the 4-hour, so we could very well see the price retrace a little bit. Now, keep in mind, it may retrace further, but it has already kind of retraced, if you will, because it hit that level, that Fibonacci level, and turned itself around. So how much lower could it go? Well, I think it could go a little bit lower because, again, we're starting to lose our momentum here. We are in a situation where we hit a key level resistance. We need to respect, though, this most recent high here. So we take this most recent high right there at about 15.5. The price action jumped up past that level and came back down to retest it and bounced. You'll see that reflected on smaller time frames. So what does that mean for us? Well, it implies that that level, being a previous high, is potentially going to be working as a new low. So even though the price wicked down below that, it's averaging itself out there, and the volume profile is going to start averaging itself out higher there. Okay. So again, it's too early to tell, but generally speaking, when you have a previous all-time high or most recent high, whatever, the likelihood of that level holding moving forward is higher. We just need to be able to consolidate and average ourselves out here. So we can just say trade at this range of 15.5 or higher for the next day or two. It's a great chance the price will continue up from there. Because I got the question, why in the heck did BLZ not retrace or pull back any lower than this level here at about 11.5? The main reason why is because we have a tremendous amount of volume accumulated at that zone, right? We need more volume here at this level to be able to sustain this price action. Okay, so again, likelihood of it continuing upwards from here, we got to respect the fact that overextension is a factor, and we need to understand that. So take a look at overextension. We've already identified we're hitting a resistance level at 70 on the RSI in both time frames. We take that and we run that concurrent with TD sequential here. We can kind of see that there's still more room to run. Okay, so keep in mind, do not just sell a coin because it hits a 70 on the RSI. When it breaks through that level, it becomes a support, and we could very well see that continue to run. What I'm getting at here is there's no consistency in overextension on TD sequential. In other words, this coin is shooting up and shooting down at such an alarming rate that it's difficult to trade. So if you're having trouble gauging this coin, it's very normal. Okay. What we want to look at alternatively there, because we've identified that we are overextended, but we still have more time to run. In other words, we've had this large amount of increase in the short amount of time, right? 40% in roughly 8 hours, maybe 12 hours. There's still potential for another like 24 hours of continuation as far as overextension is concerned. That said, let's go ahead and look at some fair value gaps and see if there's anything that needs to be filled. This is where things get interesting. So we got some liquidity and fair value right here in the range of 13 upwards of 15.5. So if we lose this support level here, just say we get a one-day candlestick closure or the price comes down below this level, there's a decent chance this fair value gap will get filled. Okay? In other words, fair value gaps get filled pretty consistently. They don't always get filled right away, but they will eventually. Now, you could argue the fact that that's not true because, in truth, there are previous fair value gaps at 5.7, 7.6 that haven't gotten filled yet. Okay? So just keep in mind, they don't always get filled. But this is a larger gap here, pretty significant gap, and it would make sense for profits to be taken to the downside here. We could very well see the price kind of trickle down and bounce off that support level right off of those moving averages. Okay, once they start to average out. Because again, the 200 is starting to work itself upwards here with that ascending trend line. Okay, so again, a handful of factors. All right, so anyways, enough of that. That's kind of the consensus here on the 4 hour. Let's look at the 1 hour, see if there's anything that kind of help us identify overextension. And you can kind of see we are starting to get overextended on the hourly. Okay, so what this basically just means for us here is if we see actually let's go ahead and make this a little bit bigger here for you. There's an 8 on TD sequential. So what this is doing is it's taking the fourth previous candlestick, counting up until it hits a 9. Once you hit a 9, it becomes overextended and typically pulls back. Look at its history here. We hit a 9 here, price goes sideways, legs up, hit a second 9, and then it pulled back. We just went up to our first 9 here, or well, we're at an 8, but one more hour will be at a 9, another hour and a half or so. There's potential for the price to go sideways now that we've broken through this key level resistance and for it to go up again and hit a second 9. I think that's more likely than the price pulling back in the immediate future based on how much volume is coming into this coin. If you take a look at this volume, we're steadily increasing the amount of volume here. Even if there's selling pressure, it's still extra volume. So to me, there's a lot of reasons why shorting this coin right now would be potentially disastrous. And I also feel kind of conflicted too. I hate taking a long at the top. Okay, I'm not telling you to take a long either. I'm just saying that in general here, we have consistency in this coin. It consistently overextends itself. And once it does, it will inevitably go the other direction. We just got to ask ourselves, is it going to go this direction right away? Or is it going to consolidate first, hit a second 9, and then continue lower from there? My guess is the latter. I think we're going to see probably an overextension here soon. Because once again, on the 4 hour time frame, we're just getting started on this run. Okay, we're8 to 12 hours into this. Hypothetically, you can typically go about 36 hours before the price will pull back on a good run. Okay, so my speculation is now that we've broken through this key level resistance, there's a good chance. And once again, keep in mind this key level resistance has been tested twice. Okay, now that we're above that level, it's probably not going to drop below for a little while. Okay, so I'm looking for a second overextension. If we see a second 9 on TD sequential on the hourly, that's go time for a short, in my opinion. But we're not there yet. We're just getting started. We're barely at the end of that first overextension, and I think that we're going to be able to see that fair value gap get filled eventually, just not right away. Okay, those are my 2 cents. Actually, probably more like 10 cents, $1 or whatever. I know I give you a lot of information. Hopefully, you're able to understand and digest this. But generally speaking, I think that we have much more propensity for the price action to stay where it's at, considering that's a most recent high that we broke through. If it consolidates at that level or higher, we should see one more leg up before the next leg down. And that would make a lot more sense. And what it would do is it would basically just grab some liquidity up here, it'd hit this next level, hit these, close out a lot of shorts, of course, and then it would sweep back down to likely fill that gap. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for one more leg up here. So I'll set an alert here somewhere in the range of just say, what is it? You know what, I'll hold off on that. I'm going to reevaluate this later today anyway. So why don't we just go ahead and take a look at anything that, as soon as the price action gets over 18 cents, that's when I'm going to be interested in the short. I guess that's the easy way to describe it. All right, folks, thanks again so much for joining me here. I hope this made sense to you. Come join us over on our Discord, of course. Really cool stuff there. We got an awesome community. We have a lot of fun there. And then obviously Twitter, Telegram, the whole 9 yards is all available here for you. All right, thanks again for joining me here. Have a great rest of your day. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.